Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the kitchen. I am MrBroadcast, and we have with me Mr. Twitch for Life and Artemis Prime, Mr. Art behind the camera. And today, featuring, we have one, the only Miss Tasheena Butler.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
That's right. Now, before we get into all the creme de la creme, as we will say in the kitchen, I would like to point out why we have Miss Butler here today with us. I was at the Best of the Beat down in New Orleans, and I happened to be walking past some of the different tables, and who standing behind that table but you.
Hello, me.
Go ahead and tell the audience what you were doing behind that table, ma'am.
Well, I was at the table working the event for my job. I work for Liberty's Kitchen, and we were one of the vendors that were asked to come in to set up and give out some samples of some of our goodies at the award show for the folks that were coming to enjoy the celebration that evening.
Now, and a lot of folks who don't know what Liberty's Kitchen is, and you can correct me as I go, but it's a nonprofit organization down in New Orleans that helps assist young individuals between 16 and 24.
That's correct.
In the art of culinary.
So it's a workforce development program is what it is. And the goal is just to teach young people to be employable, help them get a job and keep a job. That's the end game. That's the end result of the program. So we do that through hospitality training. Hospitality jobs are plentiful. You don't have to have a whole lot of skill to get them. They're very good entry level. They're flexible because there's restaurants open all day and all night. Yeah. So you can usually find something that works with your lifestyle and with your schedule. And because there's a low barrier and you don't need a whole lot of training, these jobs are great for young people just kind of starting out.
Okay. How did you get involved with Liberty Kitchen in particular?
So I was looking for something different. Back in 2014, I was running my own little restaurant. And unfortunately, just because of financial reasons, I had to close it. But I still needed a job because, here I am with 2 sets of bills and needing to work. But I did want to leave the grind that I was on previously. I had worked in the casino industry as a chef, 8.5 years. So, 15, 16-hour days, nights, weekends. Go in dark in the morning, leave when it's dark at night, right. And missed out on so many events, holidays, family gatherings and everything. And I just wanted a change of pace. I had really just gotten burned out of that lifestyle. But I know I needed to work, so I wanted to find something that was going to provide a little bit more of a work-life balance. And it was a really funny thing how I came to Liberty's Kitchen because I actually happened upon the place by pure accident and happenstance.
Really?
Yeah. So I was actually leaving a job interview for a position at Tulane Hospital, which I didn't want. But at this time, beggars can't be choosy. So right. I'm on this job interview. And I go over to, at the time, was the new Whole Foods on North Broad. Mm-hmm. And I was going to get some lunch. And I see this little place, Liberty's Kitchen. Never heard of it. Didn't know anything about it. Walked through the front door, and it was set up kind of like a coffee shop, like Starbucks. And I didn't know they sell food, but I walked to the counter, and I saw a little menu, and I picked the menu up, and I kind of looked at it, and I was like, well, too rich for my blood, because I'm balling on the budget because I'm, unemployed. And so I was like, oh, okay, cute little place, and really didn't think anything of it. Put the menu down, walked to Whole Foods, got my little $3 slice of pizza, and out the door. So I'm at home that evening online looking for jobs, and this Liberty's Kitchen culinary training coordinator position comes up, and I say, Liberty's Kitchen. I say, oh, that's the little place that I walked into today, and pop open the job description, and it's a teaching position, a chef instructor. And I was like, right on. like that sounds like that's up my alley, a refreshing change of pace and and everything. So I started doing a little research, and I'm like, this place kind of has like school hours, like like they ain't open. They open 7 to 3 Monday to Friday, and I'm like, what?
This is looking better and better. Right?
Say what? So I applied for the job, and after a rigorous 6-week long interview process, I got the job.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So so in the beginning, it was really more about this work-life balance, like I mean, when you're used to working 15 hours a day, when you work 8 hours and like you get to actually leave and nobody say nothing, I was like, so I can go? Like, it's 4:00.
Wait a minute.
Are you sure? Like, because once I'm gone, I ain't coming back. That's right. Till tomorrow. And so it was kind of like, I'm digging this, Yeah. And but it didn't take very long for the other benefits to kick in, to see the impact that I was having with the work that I was doing. So our young people, they come to us with various degrees of, you name it, of trauma, of abuse. Some of them are in the criminal justice, is in the system, and so all of these factors, dropped out of school, living in Covenant House, with no family to speak of, and so they've been through the school of hard knocks, a lot of them, and to have them come and to watch them just in the short time of the program, like we talk about people changing, one of my coworkers says, when a snake sheds its skin, it has a new skin, but it's still a snake. We see transformation. We see caterpillars become butterflies.
Gotcha.
In that small amount of time in the program. So we work not only to just provide the job skills, but also the life skills that will foster and encourage and strengthen the hard skills. Yeah. So we work with them on so many things. So, we have great partners who come in and work with our young people to do things like just today. We have what we call Social Justice Thursday. Oh, and there we go. So just trying to get that civic engagement piece and just wokeness or awareness that is that we speak of today. And a group comes in and they present to them about workers' rights. So what are your rights in the workplace? And what are the things that workers, especially in the hospitality industry, are looking for and trying to promote and advocate for, and how to get in on the fight, and make your voices heard. So, I mean, from things like that to, we have an agency that comes in and does sexual health and reproductive health, and they come in and do free HIV testing, not only for our young people, but for the staff as well. They open it up for everyone. We have a lady who comes and helps a session with them about know your rights. So know your rights. So if you're ever stopped by the police, these are your rights. These are the things that
it's far beyond just.
We have health and wellness Wednesdays where they might do yoga. They might go exercise on the Lafitte Greenway. They might have a session on stress management. They might have a session on conflict resolution. So all these different facets, trying to speak to the whole person. Yeah. Because I think the soft skills is what reinforces those hard skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, that's not it. You're right. I mean, 7 to 3. You're right, because you packing a lot at 7 to 3. You shouldn't be trying to go no past 3 o'clock after that. My brain is squished. I mean, but it's with valuable life lessons, skills, and knowledge that I feel the younger generation definitely needs. And I can see why you would say a caterpillar to a butterfly, because with something like that, with not just nature, but with the nurture that you're providing for these young men and women, it will definitely allow them to be in a better place than where they started.
Yeah. So one of the things that we try to, I think a lot of times young people feel invisible and they don't feel valued. And so we try to make them understand that you matter, your words matter.
Yeah.
We see you. We see you.
Right.
Now that goes both ways now.
Right.
You know, we see the good and we see the bad and we see the ugly. We see it all, but we see you.
Right.
You are real, you exist, and you matter. And we try to make them always understand it.
Yeah, that's very important. You know, you see a lot of kids out here that don't have that support structure, and you see the result of that lack of support structure. So knowing that there's an entity out there that you know takes them in, you know what I mean? You know, I've always wanted to do stuff like that inside of, you know, the music industry, but to know that there's other stuff out there in other industries, you know, to encompass, you know, people that, you know, don't want to do music, you know what I mean, that's exciting. That's definitely exciting to hear. You know, outside of the school, I heard there's something else that you did, a show that you was on, that you was featured on. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so back in 2012, I was featured on the competition Food Network show Chopped.
I love that show.
I wasn't a fan.
Really?
Nah, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan.
Okay, so tell us why.
Why I wasn't a fan?
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't a fan. I don't know. I can't. You know, I don't know. So it wasn't my idea to go on the show. Let me just start there.
Okay.
Let me just start there. It wasn't my idea, but they did a casting call in New Orleans, and this friend of mine kept sending me these links to, you should do it. And I'm like, girl, I don't know that. I'm not trying to do that, you know. And she just wouldn't stop. You know. So just to appease, and I could have told her that I applied and didn't, and she would have never known the difference, right? But you know, I have integrity. Okay, so
even when it ticks me off,
right,
I'm gonna do it.
Right, I have integrity. So, I'll never forget. It's like 2 a.m, and I'm filling out the application, you know, and didn't think anything of it. Went to bed, woke up the next day, gone about my regularly scheduled life, and I'm in the hairdresser, about to sit under the hair dryer, and my phone rings, and it's a 212 area code. Well, I know that's New York, and I said, "This is the Food Network calling me." And sure enough, it was like literally, it was barely 12 hours later, and they were literally calling me.
Wow.
Like, we want to get you in, you know, we want to get you in for this I don't know what they call it, but maybe that was the casting call. I don't know. So they wanted to get me in. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't tell my friend at all. Like, I didn't tell her because I didn't want her to start getting too juiced up. Yeah, like too amped up. So I go to the casting call, and you know, they sit you in a room and they tell you, okay, we're gonna film you, we're gonna ask you a few questions, but the people who are making the decisions are only gonna see 30 seconds of everything that we're about to shoot. So you've got to make this impression, and you've got to make it, because all they're gonna see is 30 seconds of this. So I'm like, okay. So they ask the questions, and we do the thing, and a couple of weeks later, I got an email that I was selected to be on the show.
Did they ever tell you like which 30 seconds did they see?
I have no idea. No idea. So yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, cool. That's that. I wasn't really overly excited about it. I was like,
I got you.
Cool.
Wasn't really your thing, but you were like, I'm just gonna do it anyway.
Well, I mean, you know, I'd be a fool to not take advantage of an opportunity. Right. You know, that didn't cost me anything. That didn't, you know, and like only good can come from it. Like what what bad could come from it.
Right.
So it was just kind of one of those things. And if all else fails, it's a free trip to New York. Hey,
Hey,
you know,
heard that.
hey. So I went.
Nice.
So I went, and I actually got to take my sister with me. You know, that was her first time in New York, so it was nice to experience that with her. But filming the show was quite an interesting experience. So people always ask, is it really like you really don't know what's in the baskets? And like, you really don't know. Like you really don't know. You really don't know. So it really is a mystery basket. And so they film you several times just opening an empty basket. You know, I guess for editing purposes and stuff like that. Before, but then when it's time, it's and the clock is running, it's for real. Like it's the fastest 15 minutes or 20 minutes, however it is. It's the fastest of your life.
Wow.
The problem is not the ingredients and not the actual cooking. It's the fact that you're in this unfamiliar space and you don't know where anything is.
Like so that's give you a chance to get familiar with nothing?
No, like literally like 2 minutes. Like literally, I'm not making this up. It was like literally 2 minutes. Like, okay, here's the kitchen, here's the pantry, here's the, and it was like literally 2 minutes that you were like, so that for me, I'm gonna speak for myself. That for me was like the biggest challenge. It wasn't the ingredients. It wasn't, you know, any of that. It was you spent so much time looking for stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
I can see that.
I walked around for like 3 minutes looking for a can opener, and I was saying can opener, can opener, can opener, can opener, can opener. And finally somebody was like, it's over there, you know. And I'm like, well, thank God, because I'd probably still be there looking for that can opener, you know. But yeah, so it was an interesting experience, but it's very real. Like what you see is what happening. It is. Now, what isn't so real is the storyline, and I get it. It's television. You got to make it interesting. But they were trying to create drama where there wasn't really any drama. So it was pretty contrived, you know?
Yeah.
And it was funny because they for whatever reason, you know, they cast me as a villain because in the first round.
Right.
How did we do this?
You know, right? So in the first round, I used breadcrumbs, right? And in between rounds, they reset the kitchen, right? So when they reset the kitchen, the PAs didn't put the breadcrumbs back in the kitchen. It wasn't me. When they reset the kitchen, they didn't put breadcrumbs back in the kitchen. So the second round comes along, and one of the other contestants is looking for breadcrumbs.
Stop.
And the camera keeps eyeing in on me, and with the little shark music ding, 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 playing in the background, like trying to say like I'm hiding
the breadcrumbs.
And I'm like, that is so not how that happened. Like, that is so not how that happened. But that's when they were trying to, like, you know, take nothing and make something. And make something. And I was really like, really?
Yeah.
Like, and like, that was kind of weak. I mean, is that the best you could do? You know, like try to pin, you know, the breadcrumbs on me. But, you know, and I was just like, I'm like, you know, I have a disclaimer for everybody that's about to watch this show, you know, that this is not how this went down. So, but I mean, you know, it's the magic of television. So, you know, or whatever. But I didn't win. And that was okay. Like I said, it's an experience. Yeah. It was national exposure, you know, and at the end of the day, it was a free trip to New York. So there you go.
Right.
You know,
I mean, and you know, and I say something like, I say that to that too, is two points. You still did something that many people never did.
That's right. How many people can say that?
Right. And regardless of you knowing how many people who didn't win that biggest prize didn't go on to get the bigger prize.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
I like something I heard Frankie Beverly say once. He says, we may not get a lot of awards. He said, but we get a lot of rewards. And that's how I look at it, So maybe I didn't win the big award, but I got some rewards. It was nice being recognized on the street a little bit, a couple of times, like, weren't you just I laughed because one of my friends, somebody recognized me. We were sitting in a restaurant, and it was like the person who recognized me was scared to come over and say something. And I'm like literally coming from the gym in gym clothes, just trying to grab something to eat and get inside. And the little waitress comes and is like, ma'am, excuse me, were you recently on TV? And I said, yes. Said, oh, because one of the guys in the kitchen recognized you, but he was too scared to come and ask. And I'm like, so I just turned and I just waved, and I turned back to my friend. She's crying because she can't believe her friend is famous. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Celebrity status.
Boom, hello.
What is wrong with you? And it was funny. I went into the bank, and these two people, they were walking like they were scared, hand in hand. And they were like, we think we know you. And I'm like, for real? From what? And I'm dumb Dora. I'm like, for
Not
real?
even thinking
what?
about it.
Yeah, right?
Right.
They said, were you on chat? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, we saw you. We were so pulling for you. Blah, 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 blah. So, and I mean, honestly, what was the biggest thrill for me actually out of that whole experience was my episode aired the week of Thanksgiving. And I got to go on the morning show with Sally Ann Roberts and Eric Paulson on WWL. And I got to promote the episode. And I had so much fun with them in the studio that morning, making cranberry sauce from scratch and just having a good time with that. So I had more fun doing that. But
rewards.
Reward. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
So it was cool. Like I said, never really was a huge fan of the show, but definitely don't want to take anything away from what is done for tons of people who've been on it and done well, or the exposure for folks and what it does, what it does for folks. So absolutely. So no regrets. And if I had to do it all over again, I'm sure I would.
You heard that, friend? You heard that, friend, right? Keep sending them emails. Keep popping them links.
Yeah. It's doubtful though.
Before we kind of transition to anything else, just kind of where you came from, where you were, that kind of experience with that, flying out to New York. Let's just kind of dissect a little bit of that, because you talked about the cranberry sauce and you talked about the mystery meal. But what are some of your go-to meals? What do you say to yourself? This is it,
See, that's the thing, and that's the thing. Like, I like what somebody else cooked. I cook for people, and that's great, but I want somebody to cook for me. So and even if I have to pay for it, that's fine too. But I'm not much of a home cook. It's just me for the most part. So and when you're working around kitchens and food and stuff all day, like the last thing I want to do when I get home, is cook. So for me myself, I'm not much of a home cook, but what I do enjoy fixing is I like I don't know why, but I love making salad dressing.
That's awesome.
Like making salad dressing, and I mean it's easy enough to buy salad dressing, but it's also just as easy to make salad dressing. And it takes very few ingredients, and you can tweak them in so many different ways. I like making salad dressing, and I like making soup. because it's kind of this nothing, and you just put all this stuff in, and it just becomes something, something good. And again, you can, with very minor tweaks, you can really change the flavor profile of something and make so many variations of the one thing.
Right.
So I'm a really simple. I'm not a fancy type of eater. I'm not a food snob like they like to call some chefs. I'm not a food snob, but I'm happy with a good sandwich and a bowl of soup. I'm good.
Okay.
So that's so you talk about comfort food, that's the thing. A nice toasty, cheesy sandwich of some type and a warm cup of something.
So anything you could pop in a panini press.
Yeah, panini press, that's what's up. Yeah, panini press, that's what's up.
Panini press, that's what's up. That's the next single. Panini press, that's what's up.
Yeah. That works for me. Panini press works for me. And just a good cup of something. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this question, right? Because I don't know about MrBroadcast, but I know me and Artemis Prime, we do cook every now and then, right? We have two different styles of cooking. Okay. Art likes to cook with a lot of herbs, right? It's main ingredient and then a bunch of herbs, right? I cook with main ingredients and lots of other vegetables and seasonings and stuff like that, right? I don't use a lot of herbs in my cooking. I say all that to say, I kind of cook like I make beats, right? I never go in knowing what I'm about to do, right? So do you have recipes, or does it just happen as you go?
It just kind of happens. I've never been a recipe chef. What I do is, when I want to make something I never made before, I just start looking up recipes and I read a bunch of them, and I find the common threads, and then I'm I slam the book or I slam the computer, and then I just go fix it the way I want to. Gotcha. I make sure that I have the basic technique, and then I go finesse it the way I want. So I'm not a recipe, and for me too, it's I'm visual, and I have to feel it. I can tell by the way something feels when I stir it, if it's coming along well, or if I need to do this or do that. So definitely you have to, it's a feel thing, and it's a smell thing, and it's one of those things. And I didn't even realize how good I had gotten at it until maybe a couple of years ago, that you really become in tune to what's going on in the pot. So I surprise myself sometimes.
That's awesome. Shoot.
First of all, I would like to say, though I do not cook a lot, I do cook a plethora of things. Now, I'm a breakfast guy. Breakfast is my thing. But when it comes to me, I'm a meat eater. So yes, I'm going to have some meat with a side of meat on top of some other meat.
That's what's up.
Encased in meat, covered by meat. All right? Understand? Yeah. So when I'm in the mood, I'm saying, oh, you know what? I feel like some chicken today. All right? Or should I have turkey? So guess what? I'm having turkey and chicken. So I'm frying some egg with some sliced turkey, and I even might flip the script a little bit and throw some sliced ham on top of that with a chicken breast, you know what I'm saying, and a turkey neck, and some Popeyes chicken.
This is why when we call, you don't answer the phone.
That's right, because I am full of the itis.
Yes. All right. He is having a cardiac arrest.
But you know what? The doctor told me I am healthier than I was in my 20s, so I'm going to keep it going.
Well,
that's a comparison we don't have a standard for.
Look, now, I might be tricking the system. I ain't allowed to cook in my house. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I don't blame it. I don't blame it at all.
That's rough.
Twitch cooks Cajun. I cook Italian.
That's right.
Mr. Lance over there cooks carnivore.
That's right. Straight up. But let me tell you, that's okay, because my son coming up in the ranks, and he will be a chef connoisseur. A chef connoisseur. That's right. A connoisseur of chefery. That's right. It's like the third level of Super Saiyan right before you become Super Saiyan 4, where it's like God Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct, boom, hello.
So,
whole other level.
so on your way home tonight, and you pick up your third cat, we can name him Shepherd.
That's all right.
Shepherd
Y'all gonna
Martini.
see.
Got a little ring to
That's
it.
all right. Mark my words. He gonna be on Chop Jr. Boom. I'm filling out the email.
Well, do it to it.
Oh man.
No.
Oh man.
I do have a follow-on question with that. So we talked
Sure.
about how you don't like to eat, and you don't like to cook. I understand that. You want other people to cook for you. So when other people cook for you, though, what are some of the things? All right, so I'll give you, like, for me, hands down, spaghetti and weenies. I love somebody to cook me some spaghetti and weenies. That's right.
Yikes.
That's right. All right.
I don't even know what that means.
You know,
She said,
All right.
we are not
We
fortunate.
call it weenie stew.
nah. Straight up. Look at here. Boom. Hello. Wifey killing it. Spaghetti and weenies. My grandma killing it with the gumbo. All right. My mama killing it with the fish and the red beans and sausage. That's my go-tos. That's my go-tos.
I think me and Art both died on this.
All right. Now, you know, what for you does it for you?
So I have to admit, and I probably wouldn't tell her this in person, so y'all don't tell her. But my sister makes really good macaroni and cheese.
Boom. Art, we gonna blow that up on the
No. Don't tell her. Don't tell her. And honestly, most of the best meals or the most memorable meals I've had have been at home or somebody's home, not necessarily in restaurants. You know, I'll never forget the first time. You know, I was so used to my mama's gumbo growing up. You know, and it is very good. But you know, I went to a friend's mom's, my friend's parents' house, and had her mom's gumbo, and it just kind of blew me out the water. What?
Right.
It caught you off guard. Like, wait a minute.
Y'all can cook like this, Dad? You know?
What is on my spoon?
Right. Right.
Is this laced?
But it was so good. And I'm like, all right, Miss Barbara, I see you. I see you, you know?
Shout out to Miss Barbara.
All right, Miss Barbara, I see you, you know? And I remember being in culinary school. Man, we came up with some stuff in culinary school, you know? But it was like the first time I ever had short ribs in culinary school.
Okay.
Delicious. Love short ribs. Love short ribs. You know, I still remember two of my classmates, they made a sweet potato casserole. And I was so excited about that for like weeks. I couldn't wait for Thanksgiving to go and try to reproduce it. And it's kind of like chasing the dragon because it's just never quite as good as the first time, you know. And, you know, so stuff like that. So those things are really memorable. And lately I've been really fortunate. We have been very fortunate at Liberty's Kitchen. We have a guest chef night every month. And a guest chef comes into our kitchen and at no cost to us brings in all the food and prepares a lovely meal for patrons. They pay $50 and all the proceeds benefit come back into the program. And I've gotten to rub elbows with a lot of the really acclaimed chefs in the city, and just because of the nature of how I work a lot, so I don't go out a lot. Right. I like to go out to eat a lot, but I don't get the chance to go out to eat a lot. So it gives me a chance to sample some of their wares without necessarily going to the restaurants.
Yeah, I got you.
And I mean, these guys and gals are putting out some real quality stuff.
You want to drop any names?
Do I want to drop any names? I don't mind to drop any names. I don't think that they would mind, especially because I'm complimenting them. But the most recent one we had was the chef and owner of Coquette. Her name is Kristen Essig. Badass. Badass.
Straight
chef.
up.
Badass. She's badass. And she put together a very simple but very lovely meal for our guest chef night. Served it family style, but just used good ingredients, treated them with a lot of care, and it wasn't anything extravagant or over the top, but beautifully presented, just tasted just good. It was just good. And so that one stands out because it was the most recent. I always got a shout out because this guy has done some what I call extracurricular work with our young people. But GW Finn's, really popular seafood restaurant down in the quarter. But the owner, his name is Tenny Flynn. He's like a madman with the fish. When it comes, he's so particular, and it has to be just so. But I see why, because you go eat, and it's incredible. It's incredible, it's incredible. And actually, one of my favorite dishes that he does is not even fish. He does an incredible pork belly with a compressed watermelon salad. It is insane. It's insane. And I have a shellfish allergy, so I have to really kind of pick my battles, when it comes to eating the shellfish and everything. But it's worth the Benadryl. it's worth the Benadryl to have it, because he's just doing good stuff. Just doing really good stuff.
See,
so
that's how we vote. Well, hey, drop the Benadryl.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. So I mean, and the list goes on and on. I think one of the most unique guest chef nights that we've had. Guy named Dana Hahn runs a restaurant in the warehouse district called Carmo, and just exotic, but pours like, and we all talk about people cooking with love and stuff, but this guy pours his heart and soul into every ingredient, everything. He's just a super guy. To hear him talk about where he sources the food and where he learned to cook the food. He went to, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, he went to places around the equator, and learned how to cook in indigenous ingredients in those areas, and came back and opened this great little spot, Carmo. And actually one of our young people graduated from the program, started to work, did her externship there, and to this day, almost 3 years later, is still working for Dana.
Wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
So
his
that's a
mofongo,
super guy.
His mofongo's off the chain.
Mofongo. I don't know if I've ever had his mofongo.
It's
What is-
brilliant.
What is mofongo?
It's like a plantain mash. I think it's a Cuban dish. I want to say it's something like that. He's got dishes from like Brazil, from the islands, from Central America, Northern South America. I love that place.
So we're going? Is that what
so
just happened?
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
just saying.
Yeah, man.
Just saying. Get in on that.
Yes.
Plus, I think they're the only place in town with like real caipirinhas, which is Brazilian drink. We'll go. We'll have it. We'll try it out. I got you.
My man. See, I'm glad you picked up on that vibe. I don't need all of that. I just need to go. I just need to go ahead and eat it and drink whatever I need to drink. Just to have these experiences.
Yeah, man. So I'm fortunate in that regard. Another place that and this is a couple real stand-up guys. These two brothers, Mike and Jeff Galata, they own Mofo, which is in the City Park area, and they own a restaurant, Maypop, which is like in the heart of downtown in the warehouse district. And good boys, just good boys, just trying to do good work,
Right.
Jeff is a really good partner to Liberty's Kitchen. As a matter of fact, our young people just went there yesterday. Every few weeks, they bring a rotation of young folks in, and he kind of gives them a tour and talks to them about the hospitality industry and working in restaurants and everything. And Jeff is more of the front of the house guy, and Mike is more of the chef, the back of the house guy.
Gotcha.
So there's skills combined to make, you know, a couple of really good restaurants. And Mofo is like Cajun Asian. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cute. So it's like this fusion with the pho soup as the base, and which I do love. Good pho.
All day.
Yeah. So
All day.
So yeah. So you know.
Another phenomenon.
So yeah, so those guys are doing good things too. So yeah, I've been very fortunate to, you know, experience a lot of this food for the low price of $3.99 when they come and help us out at Liberty's Kitchen. But with that too, when I do go out and when I can go out, I really do try to patronize these individuals, you know, just to just show them some love, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know, return the favor, so to speak. But yeah, so you can get good food in New Orleans at the gas station. You know what I mean?
Real.
You can get good food at the corner store.
Right, because brothers be holding it down at 3 a.m.
You know what I mean? But I mean, you know, really quality food with attention to ingredients, and you know, people who are really trying to support local farmers, local fisheries. You know, you can feel really good about it. And when you're giving good service, you know, you pay more but you get more.
Right.
You know, so
For sure.
So there's that.
You definitely get what you pay for anywhere you go.
You know, I have to definitely say you have brought a light and attention to a lot of things I think a lot of folks didn't know about when it comes to the service that you're doing for the young folks in the city at Liberty's Kitchen. That not only involves with giving them a skill, but giving them life lessons and knowledge through nature and nurture. And that's something that I am humbled by you coming on the show to not only talk about your experiences, but the experiences you are providing for these young folks going forward, and as well as the partners that you have graced us with, letting us know to allow us to go and venture out and visit ourselves. Right. You know, is there anything else you'd like to push out there, or pin to let us know about any events we should look forward to at this point in time, or to get back with you on? Or?
Well, our big fundraiser for Liberty's Kitchen happens in the fall. Come grow with us, and so it's in September, which, I mean, it's already June. It's already right. June, so we are well underway. So that'll be mid-June. Is it the 14th or the 15th? One of those days, but we always accept donations. You know, we are a nonprofit, and so when people decide to make it rain and open up their hearts and share their treasure with us, it is a blessing, because it allows us to do the work that we do. So our website, www.libertieskitchen.org. Also, we have a cafe that operates and works and serves breakfast and lunch Monday through Friday, 7 to 2. And we also have a sister property at 1615 Poydras. It's the Freeport McMoran building right across the street from the Superdome. We operate the employee cafeteria for that building, but it's open to the public. So so you don't have to just give us your money. We'll earn it. We'll earn it. So we have some services and goods to peddle that we'll earn it. So but we thank all our patrons and definitely all of our benefactors and grantors.
Right. Awesome.
Well, I definitely say I'll be visiting, and I feel like speaking for myself, but I think I can reach out for my two brothers here and say we'll definitely find a way to get with you to assist with our services from a community service standpoint to assist you guys, because this is something that we definitely want to get behind from now and going forward. And you guys should look into doing the same thing too. And not only that, look for what we have forward coming through with this as far as when it comes to the kitchen. So definitely pay attention to what we got coming forward, you know, with things like this that we got from Miss Tasheena Butler in Liberty Kitchen. And also, if you want to look for other features that we have coming up, definitely hit that button to subscribe. And going forward as well, as go ahead and look and get that little bell so you can go ahead and get those updates for what we got going on, and then pass it on, get that link, share it out, let other people know what we're doing and what's going on out here when it comes to the kitchen and Mad Rational. You know, and this is what we have right here. This is Mad Rational. Myself, Mr. Broadcast, Artemis Prime behind the camera, Mr. Twitch for life, Mr. Tasheena Butler with Liberty's Kitchen, and we're out. Deuces.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. House, I forget to mute my Google Homes. Because one day he's gonna say something, and the Google Home's gonna hear him, and the Men in Black is gonna knock on the door.
Oh Lord.
I used to do the Big Brother thing back in the day.
Stop it.
What?
Stop.
I don't do it no more.
I'm not trying to. He's trying to be part of the Illuminati. You over here with secrets that nobody needs to know, and I'm trying to stay out of all of it.
Here's the thing,
He's
right?
just trying to live.
I'm
There's
just
two
trying to
things.
live my
There's
life.
two things that can
I
happen,
make
right?
music. That's all.
There's
I'm
two
trying to
things
do.
that can happen. Either people gonna be like, you know what, he's crazy, or somebody's gonna come through that door and get me, and we're all famous.
No, because this isn't live. Because they're gonna rip the SIM card out, and that'll be the last of it.
Well, I mean, you gotta figure out something. Throw it in the carpet or something. Come back for it later.
Open to spontaneous.
You know.
I'm open to spontaneous. Yeah, with different types of spontaneous, right? Not spontaneous that involves, risking my life.
But you won't know, like.
You're right.
See,
some things
can't
I just
fear that.
I'm not scared of anything. I
just
just don't. Mm-mm.
Hey, Art. Not scared of anything, but last time I remember, didn't we talk about self-aware?
What you talking about? The robots? Okay, keep playing with the robots. All right.
He has a fear of self-aware robots, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not a fear. It's not a fear.
So what's the robot they have out right now?
The one that's over in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. What's the name? Sophia.
Sophia.
Yep.
How do you feel about Sophia?
Sophia don't bother me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just found out about a drone that eats biomass to power itself.
Really?
So it's a man-eating robot.
Thanks, Art.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. And then we put that on Sophia, and Sophia eats people in order to stay alive.
Honestly, I think that if you're on Sophia's good side, then you don't have anything to worry about.
What's the problem? Just like a regular person, right?
Yeah.
No, not like a regular person, Lance. Not like a regular person.
No,
that processes information far faster than we can imagine processing that information. No, sir. She can upgrade herself instantly. No, sir.
Didn't they just drop a movie called Upgrade?
Look,
He's not with it. Okay.
You know what? Come on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring fear tonight. Let's get this going.
It's not fear.
You go.
I'm not scared.
You go ahead.
I'm not scared.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the kitchen.
I'm not scared. I just want you to know that.